CJ, how similar is this injury to your previous two left foot injuries?
It's completely different. The severity of it is different. Doesn't require surgery. It's a different part of the foot. It's a Jones fracture is what I had previously. It's a very common sports injury. This injury that I have is very unique because of how I got it. It's not like a non-contact injury. It's like direct impact to the foot. You know, when I landed and he landed on top of me. And there's not a lot of research behind it because it doesn't happen very often. But I do know that it's not as severe and I don't need surgery or anything like that. And I'll be getting some other opinions as well. But it's not the type of, it's a hairline fracture, but it's not the type of fracture that shows up on an x-ray or a CT scan, which is why we didn't know. No one knew. All the doctors didn't see it. And then when I looked at it yesterday, I didn't see it either. And one of our foot specialists said that in the MRI, he sees something. It's like a little line. He sees something that might be there. So I went back during the game yesterday to get more images done. And in the images, you still couldn't see it in the x-ray or the CT scan. You could only see it in the MRI. So it's a completely separate injury and it's unique in itself.
Can you explain where on the foot it is?
I don't know what the technical term is. It's an avulsion fracture, so midfoot. I guess towards the middle of the footish. But it's weird. I don't have any swelling or anything like that. It's just weird. It's unique.
Yeah. Next question is coming from Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest.
CJ, you said you don't want people to feel bad for you, and I know you've always kept a good demeanor and a positive attitude on things, but what have been some of your thoughts as far as you started off, you know, the best start in your career and now this happens? I mean, is it just, oh, okay, well, I know you tweeted this is God's plan, but what have been some of your thoughts as you reflected on that?
It's just bad timing. It's terrible timing, but it's nothing I can really do about it. I work hard to take care of myself. I put a lot of time in. I put a lot of effort in my body. And this is one of those situations where there's not much I could have done. Maybe if I had done a left-handed layup, he wouldn't have fell on top of me. But it is what it is. I think I'm at the point in my life where you control what you can control. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I live a good life. I'm still going to live a good life. And this is something that I can, overcome with some time and some rest. So it's tough for me. It's tough for our team. We've already, lost some players due to injury, so it's not ideal. But life's never really ideal. So you just have to trust in the word, trust in the preparation, and continue to follow God's plan.
Next question is coming from Casey Holdahl with Trailblazers.com.
CJ, could you talk us through the injury? Because obviously we saw it. You go through the drive, Capella steps on your foot. You end up staying in the game after walking it off for a little bit. So how did it feel at that point? And then to go into the locker room to decide like, hey, we probably need to look at this, to where you're at now?
It hurt, but it wasn't. I broke my foot twice, so I know like what that type of pain feels like. It wasn't that type of pain. It wasn't that type of injury on that part of the foot. It was just a unique pain in the middle of my foot. But I'm also taped while I'm playing, so I go through like my normal stress reaction test, and I pass them, but my adrenaline's also pumping. So I was definitely moving differently. I knew I could probably play a few more minutes, and then once halftime came, it got stiff. My feet got stiff. Going through the checkup, I told Jess, I was like, I don't think so. He looked at me and he was like, where does it hurt at? We kind of went through another stress test, and I mean, it's a blessing, honestly. I think considering the circumstances, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been my list ranked. Could have been a lot of other stuff to where I could be out for 5 months. So I take good care of myself. I like to think that, since I work so hard in my body and I do things the right way, that I'm in a boot for a few weeks as opposed to having to get surgery.
Thanks, CJ.
Next question is coming from AJ McCord with Coin.
So CJ, I know it's hard to describe. Where is it, the top or the bottom of your foot?
I guess
In the middle.
yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I think you'll have to look up what an avulsion fracture is. I'm not really familiar with it, but I guess it's considered in the middle. But
Okay.
I mean, if you look at a foot from like a 3D image, I guess the top is the bottom in the bit. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just in the foot. Like I don't know how else to explain it. You'll have to get on the Google Images and check it out.
Okay. So what does the rehab look like? It's obviously a very different rehab than the other injuries, but do you have any idea what it's going to take in these next 4 weeks or however long to get back to being able to play?
Yeah, I have an idea. More so rest than anything. I'll do some upper body stuff. I'll be able to work on my core. Take it easy for a little bit, and then eventually get in the pool and kind of go from there. But I'm gonna reach out to Dr. Anderson. He did my last procedure when I fractured my fifth and see what he thinks as well. But we'll put a plan together, and I think it's just more so rest. There's not much you do when you have an injury where you don't really need to put too much pressure on your feet. You just need to kind of rest.
Next question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
CJ, what's the pain level like now?
Sitting here, no pain. I'm fine. I'm not on medication or anything like that. I get treatment of ice and I go home. So it's just more so walking and stuff like that. They just want me to be cautious of that, kind of let everything heal and let the ligaments heal, because there's a lot of stress from him landing on my foot. So it was a lot of pressure on the ligaments and the bones. I just kind of need to let it all rest.
Are you in a boot or crutches, or what are they doing for that?
In a boot. I'll be in a boot for 4 weeks.
It's time for a couple more. Coming back to Jason Quick with The Athletic.
CJ, they said you'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Is it your understanding that you'll be able to play in 4 weeks, or what's your understanding of when you'll be able to be back on the court?
I don't have a timeline. I'll return when I feel like myself. I'll be evaluated like you said. I'll be out of the boot in 4 weeks. I'll probably get another picture in a few weeks just to see how everything looks, see how I'm progressing. But I don't have a timeline. When I feel like I'm ready to play, that's when I'll play.
And then also, can you speak to, this has been now a series of injuries that this franchise has absorbed over the last couple of years. And we talked earlier and you said, I don't want to play in the play-in game this year. Can you speak to the mental fatigue of having to constantly overcome injuries and adversities as an organization?
Yeah, it's a part of the business. It's an unfortunate part of the business, but a lot of this stuff are the things you can't control. There's no training for a 7-footer landing on your foot. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's no training for swiping at the ball and hitting somebody's knee with your hand. There's nothing you can do about it. It's unfortunate, but it's a part of the game. I think that, for us as a franchise and as an organization, we have a history of injuries, but we also have a history of doing things the right way and going after certain types of players who are able to overcome some of those obstacles that may be thrown in their way. I think that, like I said before, this is just a game. It's just a game of basketball. Our health is really important. Our lives are really important. And there's a lot that goes into what we do to try to prepare for this. And it is mentally exhausting to have to rehab and have to go through the isolation that comes with this, especially during a pandemic. But it's also what we signed up for. We signed up to play a sport, and a lot of things can come with this sport. And I think that there's stuff that's more important than this game of basketball that people are going through on a day-to-day basis. That's a part of everybody's life. My aunt has COVID, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that's more important than what we're going through.
Next question is coming from Casey Holdall with Trailblazers.com.
CJ, you did just kind of touch on it there, and Jamie's question kind of touched on it as well. But you had that first foot break. It ended your college career. You have the second one in training camp, your rookie season, and then you're playing the best basketball of your career, and you have this one. Like, do you at all feel like that's being tested, or like, is it just, as you mentioned, bad timing? Like, do you put anything onto that? Do you consider that at all, or is it just something you put out of your mind and just chalk it up to be at basketball being basketball?
I'm battle tested, man. I'm good. I've been through a lot in my life. I'm in a good stage of life. Mentally, I'm at peace. So whatever comes with injuries, it comes with it. With sport, whatever success comes with it, I'm ready for it. Whatever failures that come with it, I'm ready for it. So, I mean, you could ask why things happen, but who's going to give you the answer? You know what I mean? Like, I think that I'll be in a better spot when I'm walking again. I can walk my dog and I can play, but in the meantime, I'll just enjoy what comes with this life. I'll enjoy the struggle of some of the things that we take for granted, some of the things that we don't realize are important to us that now you can't necessarily do when things happen like this. So I'll enjoy the ride. It's unfortunate, but I've been in worse situations, like you said before. I don't think I'll ever be as low as I was when I hurt my foot in college. That was probably as low as I've ever been, besides my grandfather dying. So I'll be all right.